He's back over there. So we'll be starting in a couple minutes.
If you're in the lobby, you can make your way into the auditorium for Legends Talk. We're going to be getting started in just a few minutes. goodness. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So I just want to let you all know that our team has really looked forward to hosting all of you this weekend. There's been countless hours put into planning and all of that. And I don't know if many of you know this, but our team is all volunteer. They are people from our church. And they just do this as a labor of love. Yeah. Yes, and Jamie, you guys all know Jamie. Jamie runs mine and Eddie's World. She's amazing. We could not do life without her. So make sure you give her a hug and thank her so much. And then if you see all the people with the volunteer shirts, here she is right now. Let's give a big shout out for Jamie. Now she's hiding in the back. And if you see everybody with the volunteer shirts, like I said, they all just out of the goodness of their hearts, they just want to just show kindness and really be a part of, just like what we started off the El Gato Classic with, the saying that we are honoring the past and championing the future. And that's what all of our volunteers are here to do, is just really celebrate you guys. I mean, as we look around this room, I don't even know if some of you realize the people that are in this room and who they are. I mean, there are people that have invented foundational tricks, and I'm not just talking about my husband. I'm talking about guys that invented in tricks before he even started skating. And it's just so amazing to be a part of that. And so that to have you all here, and we get to celebrate all of you. Some of you that has kind of resurfaced into the skateboard industry since we started doing the Gato Classic. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm so stoked, just because obviously honoring the past, but championing the future. You have the future right here in the front row. Young skaters are going to be skating this weekend. Let's give them a hand to come on out. They're doing things that I only imagined I was able to do at that age. But we're going to be getting a table here. And first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to be picking the teams for tomorrow's Generation Contest. So we have AMs, some amazing girl rippers.
Woo!
We have some masters. We have some pros. And then we have the legends are going to be picking their teams. And it's by random. And so it's going to be exciting. We're getting this table up here.
And if I can just say really quick, one thing, well, there are many things that I love about my husband. But one of the things that I love about my husband is that he always celebrates the women in skateboarding.
Yeah, they are amazing.
Yeah. So it's always been it's been very important to him that as we've done the Generations Contest, that we always have women's skateboarding included in this, because I'm telling you, I don't know if you guys watched the women and the girls skating lately, but I mean, you know, some of the girls are better than the guys. I mean, they give the guys a run for their money. So it's so fun watching the girls rip.
So as we pick the teams, I'm going to see if Christian Osoy, are you here, Christian? All right, come on up, Christian Osoy. Is Steve Caballero here? Steve Caballero, I don't know if he's in the lobby, if anybody could bring him out. If not, I'm going to have someone else pick for him as a team. So this is going to be the Legends teams. Don't be looking, don't be looking. Oh, God, look at this guy. What a cheater. So it's going to be, I have a team, Christian has a team, Steve Caballero. If anybody sees Steve Caballero out there, he has a team. And then Salba, and then Mike McGill. So I'm not sure if they're here, but we'll have somebody come and pick for them. And here, I'll pick theirs. Yeah. Well, you'll pick theirs. Of course you're going to pick theirs. But you know what? Everyone's a ripper, so it's like, how could you pick, right? Oh, I can. He says, I can. Wow. So what we have here is don't be looking. We have AMs randomly. We're going to pick an amateur. We'll pick a master. Those are the 40 to 50-year-olds. And then we have the girls that will be picking, and then the pros that will be skating tomorrow. So, what's that? So, Cab's here. All right, Steve Caballero, come on, let's give it up for Legends. And I'm not sure. So I'm going to need two people to pick then for one for Salba and then one for McGill. So you want to come up for, you can pick for, who do you want to pick up? Pick for McGill.
No.
What team? You'll pick for McGill's team. It doesn't mean you're on his team, but we'll just have you come on up. Yeah, you're coming up. And because I don't think Mike's here, and then we have Salba. We're going to pick teams for tomorrow. Yeah. So, and then Don is in the back, and he's going to be writing the names down. Wait, just to let you, Eric Gresham, you want to come and pick for, let's come pick. You're going to pick for Salba's team. So this is Eric Gresham, fellow teammate for Veriflex back in the day. And even though a lot of people don't know a lot about Veriflex, but they ruled the Gold Cup Series. I got first place overall. Patty Hoffman got first place. And then Eric Gresham and Steve Hirsch, who's around, they got first place doubles. We swept the Gold Cup Series, but anyway. Just a little history. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
Exactly. Who's coming up? And I was like, I got to get out of here. These guys are too crazy. So what we're going to do is let's have a little fun.
I think that since Brighton is picking for Mike ladies first, so she'll get to pick the first team.
Ah, ladies first. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick an am. Oh, did you see anything? So just pick a name, one of the names, and then for, so you can pick whatever, different ones. Okay.
You want to take a guess? Oh, no, it's still that.
Let's see where we're at. Let's see.
Okay.
And just to let you know, we adjusted one of the AMs, we adjusted as, we put them into the pro, Little Jake, because he's been shredding that bowl. So we put Little Jake in there.
Yeah, Jake.
He's not pro. Doesn't mean that he's pro, but he is skating and representing the pro. So is Don Bostic, are you around, Don? Are you marking it down? All right, Don Bostic,
Let's have a
World
hand
Cup
for Don
skate.
Bostic.
He's going to be... So, all right, so we're going to have Bryce is going to pick an AM, a girl, a master, and a pro. This is for Mike McGill's team. So this will be Mike McGill's team. So go ahead and pick a name and hold it up and let everybody to see. Okay. Christian's trying to organize. So just pick out a master. No, just one of the masters. Oh, she's getting the.
She's feeling it. She's feeling it.
The master is on Mike McGill's team is
Hold it up so everybody sees.
Bennett Harada. All right, so that's Bennett Harada for McGill's team. Huh?
He's writing it on the cards.
McGill's team. All right, now pick a AM. Uh-oh. Drum roll. Which one? Am I helping you? All right, who is it? Oh, Raji. Is that how you say it? I don't know. All right.
Okay, Frank.
Okay, that's okay. And then we have a girl for McGill's team. Don't be picking your name. Let's see who's this. Show everybody. Oh, Caitlin West. She's flying down from Oakland right now. So, all right. And then a pro. What pro are you going to get?
I feel it's
For Mike McGill's team.
starts with an S.
Starts with an S.
Oh, I meant B.
Beaver Fleming. All right. He's going to be here. All right. So that's Mike McGill's team. So this is the way that it's going to run. So all the AMs are going to go, all the girls are going to go, all the masters and pros and legends, and then the cumulative points, that's how they're going to win. So you're going to be picking for, or do you guys want to pick first? We'll get whatever. So you're picking for Steve Alba. So let's go for the AM. Am. Pick an am. All right, let's add. Who is it? Cartier Losi. All right, Cartier Losi. And then the girls. Let's go for it. This is for Salva's team. Joey Yarborough. All right, Joey. All right, let's go to the Masters. All right, let's see. We have, Darren Navarrete, the vertical vampire. Pro. Let's see with the pro. Which one do you want? All right. All right, Tristan Rennie. Oh, that's a good.
Christian's hurting on that one.
All right. Age before beauty. Which one's age before beauty? Cab. Cab is next. Let's pick an am first. We'll go for the am. All right. Who do we have? Kelly. Kelly. All right. I don't know how to say that, but and then master. Let's see. Tony Magnuson. Tony Magnuson. T-Mag. Are you here, T-Mag? Raise your hand. He's at dinner. Oh. He has to eat. Girls. Let's see who are the girls. Clara. All right. Clara's right here. And then for the pros. Let's see who are the pros. Ooh, Sandro Diaz. Sandro Diaz. That's Steve Caballero's team. All right, we'll let Christian Asoy go. Since I'm the host, I'll go last. I'll get whatever you guys leave me. I'll get the leftovers. That's fine. All right, Am. Who's the Am? Is it one of your riders?
I think both of them have been chosen already.
Okay, all right. So, ready? James Aspiza. All right. And girls. Kihana. All right. And the Masters. Andy McDonald. Oh, man. Andy McDonald. He is. Uh-oh.
Oh, I see some sweat coming out here right now.
That's all right. You haven't got picked yet, have you? Yeah, you're on my team. Jake. Oh, guys, ripping. Jake. All right, well, let's see what my team is. My team is Gama Lozano, which he is a local kid here, which I'm stoked about. He's on my team. And then we have Bryce. Ooh, I love Bryce. You know what? With her creativity, judges, if whoever you're out there, just think about the creativity. I'm not trying to like influence the judges or not. Remember, it's my event.
All about influence. It's all about influence.
And the master is Nikki Guerrero. Nikki Guerrero. And then the pro, Matthew Wilcox. He's been busting out lately.
Good luck.
All right, good luck with you guys. All right. Let's give it up for the teams.
May the best legend win.
May the best legends win. Could we get this table? Thank you very much.
So I'm going to hijack this again for a minute.
Okay.
So Bryce is going to come up. But then also, so a couple of people had gifts for you. Yes, so we're going to give you a couple of gifts. So this first one is from Jerry Madrid.
From Jerry Madrid. I'm going to tell a little story. Where's Jerry? Where are you at? Oh, he's right over there. 1980, I just won the Gold Cup Series, and I was just kind of like I'd won the overall winner, and I was just kind of feeling empty on the inside. And I'd stopped skateboarding. A lot of people are saying, why did you stop? And it just, I don't know, I was on my own journey. And for 3 years, I was kind of just like, what's going on? And, you know, I gave most of you know I'm a Christian. I'm a pastor of this church. And I gave my life over to Jesus Christ. And kind of in my journey in 1986, so 6 years after being out of the industry, I decided to jump back into the industry and start skateboarding again as God began to say, hey, you know what? This is a talent I've given you. All of you have talents that God has given. So I didn't want to waste it. So when I came back in, I didn't know where to go, and I asked Jerry, hey, do you think I could be on your team in Madrid? And so I had a motto with Madrid for a while. So that's a little bit of history. Thank you, Jerry, for bringing me back into the sport, back into the industry. And he says he has a little gift here. Let me see. Ooh, it's fancy right here. Let's see what this is. It's a Rolex. Jerry, you didn't have to give me a Rolex. No. It's a Madrid Fossil. Yeah, I didn't know you guys had a collab. Let me check this out. Ooh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Check this out.
That's really cool.
And if you notice, I don't have a watch. I need a watch. Thank you, Jerry, very much for all you do. How many years are you guys now in the industry? 47? 40? Come on. 47 years in the skateboard industry. That is phenomenal. Thank you very much for that.
And then we have another gift for you.
Oh, another one. Thank you, guys. Appreciate this. Hey, all of you watching online, thank you very much for tuning in. We're so glad. Oh, I'll fit into it. In the beginning. Oh, no, it says, the reigning king of our senses is our vision. Make yours super hot. All right. Liga Heimer. Oh, show the back. Ooh, check it out. Super Ball. If any of you don't know who Liga Heimer is, I'm telling you, amazing in pools, pipes, Badlander. Thank you very much. It's great to have you here today with us. Liga Heimer. Come on, let's give it up for Lee.
And then one more special gift that was made custom just for you. Oh, now they're all coming
Oh, God.
up.
You guys are. So let's check this. Oh, thank you very much for Gustav Roth. Where are you? Where did you go? Okay, is that right? Ruth. Gustav Ruth. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate this.
Sweet.
It only took me 60 years to get here, right? Sweet. What is it? No. It's a Swedish.
Totem. A Swedish totem.
Swedish
That's really
totem.
cool.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
He made
Custom artwork.
Amazing
Custom artwork going in his. And so this is a special custom. I'm going to let him explain it.
Okay.
This is my first time ever to an El Gato. My name's Ray Oriel. I skated for Canoa. I was an original team member. I was coming down here. I knew Eddie was going to be 60. I'm going to be 60 on Monday. And I had a guy I commissioned from Florida, a guy named Dennis Trost, make this for you. So,
all right.
Happy birthday, Eddie.
Oh, careful. Careful.
Pull it out. It had a custom plate right there. It's a Vera beam. It's never. There's only one in the world. This is his birthday card.
You want to tell him what that is?
This is a Vera beam. Eddie skated El Gato. It's one in the world. I don't think they ever made a Vera beam. I had a guy named Dennis Trost from Florida custom make this for Eddie.
And now, one of the best birthday presents ever. Bryce, can you lead us?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Eddie. Happy birthday to you. Woo, we love you, Eddie.
And the birthday surprises will continue all weekend. But
All
now let's
right.
get on to the Legends Talk.
Yeah, so can we grab some of this stuff? Thank you, guys. We're going to do, this is not like planned. I have a schedule or whatever. I know I'm going to get Christian, and we're going to have Christian up here, because he always likes to talk history of skateboarding, Christian Asoy. And I'm going to tell a cool story about Christian and me, just funny times. Who wants to, let me see, what do we have? Let's get Steve Cathy up here. Let's get Steve Cathy. He was, we'll talk about it once they get up on the stage. I know that Lucero, where is he? Let's get, I'm trying to get the guys from the Hester Series, Gold Cup Series that are up here right now. We're going to get Doug Marker. Where's Doug? Doug in here? Is Doug in here? Doug's not in here. We're going to get Eric Gresham up here because he picked. Eric Gresham, come on up. Where's Eric Gresham? Come on, he's hiding. And then we're going to get Steve Hirsch. Steve Hirsch. Come on, come on. They're going to get these guys up here. And we're going to talk. Can I get one of the other chairs? I didn't know I was going to have 4 guys, but we're going to get a. Are you guys coming on up? Yes, they're coming on up. Where's Eric Gresham? Is he coming up? If not, I know somebody that could talk. Thank you very much. And we have 3 mics, and then we'll pass them around. Is it? Oh, you know what? Let's take this chair. Excuse me. Can we get this chair out of here? Because I don't know if Eric's going to come up. So we'll just talk with these guys, and then we're going to bring some other guys up, and then what we're going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to give you opportunities to ask them questions, and just about. We want to talk history of skateboarding. We know that right here we have Christian Asoy. So Christian Asoy came up in the Gold Cup Series as an amateur, and so he's from that era where Steve Cathy, he skated the very first Spring Valley Pro Bowl contest back in the day. He used to do axle styles, which some of you think, oh, no. Back then, axle styles were a thing. It was a trick. And so when we saw that, him doing an axle style, what's going on? How did he do that? It was mind-blowing at the time. It was historical. And then Steve Hirsch, him and Eric Gresham, who was up here picking the team for Salba, they were the most innovative doubles partners. They would win every doubles contest back in the Gold Cup Series. They used to do axle style rock and roll and then foot plants over that and then inverts while on somebody's board. It was amazing. So if you see Tony Hawk and Andy Mack and how amazing they do doubles, you talk to Tony, he says that these guys were a big inspiration for them. So I'm just going to open it up, and I'm going to kind of ask questions of kind of that era of the Gold Cup Series. And I want you just to kind of, first of all, we'll start over here with Steve Hirsch. Steve Hirsch, we were teammates on Veriflex.
Yep.
He was first on Powerflex before that with George Orton and some others. But just tell me what, because you grew up in a Big O skate park, right?
Anaheim.
At Concrete Wave, Big O skate park. That was kind of your local area. And just tell us kind of, as you were coming up, what made you think that maybe one day I'd be a pro? Or did you ever think that?
Well, I was riding my younger brother's coattails the whole time, getting on Powerflex, definitely.
With Mikey.
They wanted Mike.
Mikey was also.
I got on as kind of an adder, I think. And the one thing, I think I said this in prior years, it just happened so fast. And I just remember being in the crowd, like at, let's say, Marina, the Gyro Pro, and watching all these people that you had never met, just saw them in the magazines, and 9 months later, you're skating with them.
Yeah.
You're actually competing against them. I mean, that's how quickly it happened. And I would say it opened up that quickly and it closed that quickly.
Yeah, and you saying that, it's so true. Back in the day, a year, you would see so much transition, but yet it would just change so quickly. Because even for me, when I first skated as a amateur, I started in February. In April, I'm turning pro, and by the end of the year, I was like, and it's just like over the 2 years, it happened so quickly. So.
Yeah, and you could look. I could look back at people like Neil Blender or Steve Schneer might have broke a leg during that short window of opportunity, and they went on to have amazing, skateboard
Amazing
careers
careers,
and
yeah.
stuff. But that was like the worst thing that could happen to you because you only had like a year
Yeah.
to develop, and you were out for 6 months, and so that's what I remember.
Yeah.
And just I think the first contest I skated pro was Whittier, and I only skated that because you could only skate the park, which was new, if you were going to be in the contest.
Yeah.
So Mr. Losi just said, tell them you're going to skate, and I ended up doing it.
Yeah, that's so cool. So now let's go to Steve. Steve Cathy, he started freestyle, started in slalom, and then the bowls kicked in, skate park started opening, and then you were all around skater like Pineapple. I'm probably gonna have Pineapple. I saw him walk in, come up as well and talk. But for me, watching that very first Hester Series bowl contest and seeing it, it was like, wow. It was so cool because it never happened before. It was never done. And for Henry, a slalom racer, to say, now that parks are opening up bowls and pools, let's do something about it. So tell me about it, kind of like how did it feel for you kind of going into that era?
Well, as Eddie was saying, myself and Dennis Martinez and Pineapple and a lot of the other GNS riders, we started riding La Costa originally. Just the guys would run slalom and we'd do freestyle up on top. And then Carlsbad Skate Park opened up, and that led on to Home Avenue. And then from Home Avenue went into Spring Valley. And Spring Valley, as you said, Eddie, was the first skate park to do a pool contest. And there was a lot of guys from San Diego that we all rode the park locally, and we were all very confident. We all thought we had a winning run, we'd do well. But it was fun. Practice sessions, all the Dogtown guys came down originally, all the Badlands guys came down, and it was just a great way to see other skaters and meet other skaters. We kind of welcomed them onto our park as well. But it was just a great event. There was a lot of fun. There was a pool riding contest. Steve Alba won the contest, of course.
Yeah. Now, tell me, when going into it, because was it your local park?
I was a resident pro.
So did you think that you were gonna I got this?
I did. I mean, like I said, we honestly we did. We all felt if we did our routine or our run that we had a good chance of winning.
Yeah.
And it was new to contests in the fact that we all practiced our run and it would be a minute long. But the way the contest was judged, we didn't really realize it, but the longer that you stayed, I think it was if you stayed in for 2 minutes, they judged you for every single trick that you did.
Yeah.
So I always like to say, because it is the truth, Steve Alba had a winning run. He did win, but he was a smart guy. He actually stayed in the pool for
stayed in
2
the
minutes.
pool for 2 minutes, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, and as you're a skater, if you're a skater, 2 minutes, and I don't know what Henry's thinking about. And even back then, it's not like there's lots of tricks that you could do. It's just get carved and grinds. I saw Doug Schneider rolled in. That was that blew me away when I was watching in the mag. And all of this, and those of you that are here that are historians, it's just the magazine. So you see this person rolling out and rolling in, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. But 2 minutes. So Salba, because he was in the Badlands, which was hot, smoggy, and he kind of I'm just gonna stay in the bowl.
And he did, and so it was fun. But that contest was great because they had different events. They had the pool riding contest. They had one-wheelers. Doug Marker won that one.
Yeah.
And you could do front side or back side, but as long as it was a one-wheeler. And Lane Oaks and I got first place in the doubles.
All right.
So I think we were the first guys to do crisscross in the pool, so that was kind of fun. And then they even had a longest carve.
Oh, the longest carve,
Yep.
yeah. Who won that? Do you know?
Anybody in the crowd help me with that one? Anybody remember? We'll tell you tomorrow.
All right. So what was cool, though, is you were talking about Doug Marker, and he still skates, and he does death race, like weekends.
Yep.
Where they hang out and skate.
And I think they've just passed 100 sessions in a row.
100 in a row?
Or meaning 100 sessions, like 100 weekends that they've ridden
100
different
weekends
parks.
that he does. So I think gives a big hand for him for doing that. Keeping skateboarding alive. You know what? One thing, and then we're going to get to Christian, but even with Doug Marker, I think they did one-wheeler contest first. It wasn't? Or did they do? Because I was reading in the magazine, so I was thinking he was the very first one to get first place in any bowl event, which is I mean it's just so cool just to be a part of history of skateboarding. And Doug, are you in here, Doug? Just he's here, but I don't know if he's around. He's probably outside just hanging out. But anyway, that was great. Any last words?
Come inside.
Doug Marker, we're calling you.
Any last words?
26 in a row. Yep.
26. All right, 26 one-wheelers. And some of you think, because of what skateboarding is today, but back then, I'm telling you, the trucks were like this wide. The boards were this wide, and it's just crazy, right?
Yeah, no, it was fun, but no, I no, not really any final words. Actually, I do want to give a shout out. Larry Gordon, of course, won the Icon Award for GNS last night, so I was proud in that respect, being a GNS team rider. But I just want to welcome everybody here. I mean, there's a lot of people here that, I mean, look at this, it's packed. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is a great church service. This is good. This is good. A lot of people here tonight. So, but thank you for letting me speak.
All right. So cool. So we're going to go over to Christian and just a little history. When I was getting back in the industry, I was talking about Jerry. He sponsored me. He gave me a model. But I remember I went to the trade show. I don't know if you remember. You just come out with the soy skateboards. And he gave me a soy skateboard. And I said, you know what? I want to start skating again. Hey. So he gave me a board. And so that was kind of cool. So, and plus we have a bond just from back in the day. And so Christian.
I got Eddie back into skating. What? That's sick.
So anyway,
You owe me.
So yeah, right. You give me royalties because I'm supporting Hosoi too. So
They're coming.
now, so anyway, so Steve came in very first contest, Hester Series 1, and then Steve came into the Hester Series 2. He has an amazing picture in the bowl at Upland because it's all about the combi and during the contest there for the very first combi contest at there. And then the next year was the Gold Cup Series, and so Christian was coming up as Am. He's getting famous. He's doing ollies out of the Brown Bowl at Marina, and then he had big old long hair. Everybody thought he was a girl at first, and it's like, no, this is a kid. It's a boy. So, but just tell us about kind of like you being around with all the Dogtown guys, them, Shogo, and everybody taking you under your wing. But then, like, what was it that you said, I just now want to start to compete? Because a lot of the Dogtown boys at the Dog Bowl contest, after that contest, they were never around because skateboarding was progressing so differently. I remember seeing you in a picture. You're behind the fence looking as a little kid under the bleachers at the Dog Bowl contest. So just tell us about that time.
Well, with those guys, Jay Adams, rest in peace. Shogo, rest in peace. Tony Alva, still here. Those guys really were my idols, you know what I mean? And when Marina Del Rey Skate Park opened, I went there 2 weeks before it opened to just go look, snuck in through the fence, and those guys were in there skateboarding, and I was like, these guys are real people. I can't believe they're there. And I'm like the only kid up against the fence, and they're skating the Dog Bowl. And I just remember looking at Skateboarder magazine for like 2 years before that, went to Skateboard World, skated, doing the double-handed bunny hops over 2 boards with my friend, jumping the fence without your board at the Skateboard World, and just fell in love with skateboarding. But when I met those guys, it's like he said, contests started happening, but it wasn't why I skated. Those guys made me want to skateboard because it was an expression of attitude, style, personality, and it made skateboarding for me more of a lifestyle than a sport right off the bat. I didn't think of it as like, oh, I'm going to be a pro skateboarder. I just said, you know what, I want to be the best in the world like those guys. And Bruce Lee was my idol at the time, and I just remember going, I want to just be the best in the world. And for me, those guys were the epitome in different reasons. Tony Alva, godfather, inventor of the backyard pool frontside airs, and just, we all knew that. Jay Adams, the attitude, the style, and just the sheer, I don't care about professional skateboarding. I do this because I love it. And then Shogo Kubo, who took me under his wing and really mentored me. Shogo was the one who actually progressed in skateboarding, and he was teaching me how to do inverts proper, tail taps proper. You know, everything had to be proper back then. You know, it's something that I think today we need to have mentors out there to help these kids to like not do certain things at certain times. It'll help them develop. But back then, there was no way around it. If you're coming to the skate park, you're going to get regulated, and they're going to tell you. And because my father, I think my father, Pops Asoy, is right here.
Come on.
He's with me. He really, you know, opened up the door for me because he ran Marina Del Rey Skate Park, and then those guys became like my big brothers. And that's how I really got my first impression on skateboarding. Jay Adams taking me to Z-Flex at 10 years old to go get my first setup, and then eventually being sponsored by Bones Brigade, you know, and that's when I met Eddie. And that was at the Gold Cup Series, and you're a little kid, 12 years old. Clara, I sponsor Clara right here in the front row. She's 12 years old. And I tell you, it was so frightening to go into the Gold Cup Series because I'm skating with all these guys that were just like, and it was such a change in the guard. It went from the Tony Alvas and those guys to a whole new guard. All the kids that were amateur were all pro. The Lance Mountains, the Neil Blenders, and it like changed. Lester Kasai. And when I got there, I was like so young, and I just remember going to Oasis. This is a story I'm just going to share with you guys. This is my first contest. I go in, I'm like known for doing the biggest airs already. They're all waiting for me to do the high airs, and I'm like, I'm going to blast in there. And I just go in first run, carve, backside air, lock, slam. First run in the Gold Cup Series. I got 28th place, and I still got the dent in my elbow from it. And I tell you, that was such a welcoming, warm, like, you know, like it made me get over the fact that, you know, you have to like live up to this thing or you have to perform. You know, since that day, I think that really helped me when I slam at a demo, I slam in a contest in front of all your peers, in front of all your friends, that, you know what, that's part of what we do. Yeah. That's why we
that's
do
right.
it.
Yeah. Come on.
That's like the reason why. If it wasn't dangerous, I mean, I wouldn't do it. And so it really set the stage. And I believe the next one was Colton, right?
Yeah. You're going to tell that story? We have a lot of young kids in here.
Yeah. I don't know if Eddie wants me to tell the story in church.
No, I don't care. No, it's part of our story. It's part of the journey.
This is how I met Eddie. I'm with Ray Bones Rodriguez. Anybody know Ray Bones Rodriguez?
Ray Bones.
Oh, come on. Anybody know Ray Bones?
Yeah, come on.
Ray Bones Rodriguez, one of the most stylish skateboarders of all time. Took me under his wing too.
He was actually really. It's Ray Bones Rodriguez. He was original Bones.
Oh yeah.
Guy.
Oh yeah. And he goes, Eddie's gonna come and meet us, and I'm like, Eddie? We're at the hotel. I think Caballero, wherever Cab's at. Cab was there. McGill, Alan Gelfin, and me and Ray smoked weed, right? So I'm 12 years old. We're like, I was already a stoner for like 2 years. So I was like legend
little
pot
kids,
smoker, right?
No, he doesn't do it no more, guys.
And here comes. Ray goes, Eddie's gonna come and meet us. I'm like, Eddie? Eddie smokes weed? I was like, no way. Veriflex smokes weed? No offense to all you guys, Veriflex guys, but I think that's a compliment now. But I was like, no way. And he came, and I'm like looking at Eddie, and I'm like, no way. And then he breaks out his own pipe, and I was like, this is insane. Eddie, and he's 60, I'm 55, so he's 17. I'm like looking at him like he's a you know, nerd guy smoking weed, and I tripped out. And that's how we met. First time we really met. I knew him from skateboarding, but the rest is history. Let me tell you this. I got 23 years of sobriety this January.
Wow.
No smoking, no drinking, no nothing. And I tell you, I feel great. And, you know, I'll just say it's because of Christ. You know, my nickname was Christ. I invented the Christ there, but the reason why I'm sober is because Jesus Christ came into my life,
all
and
right.
he came into my life in a prison cell. But that's a funny story for me and him to meet, because we're now pastors at a church, and so
And I
it's
would go.
pretty
I would
cool.
go. He was. It was in Hawaii, but he's stationed in San Bernardino. I was a youth pastor at the church there in San Bernardino, and I would go visit him sometimes. And it was just. It's so cool how even years later we've been. So that was 1980, 42, almost 43 years later, and we're still skateboarding, still loving it, and still here.
And now I sponsor Eddie for Team Hosoi because, you know, we've grown to be brothers in Christ, but also he's still ripping. He is ripping. At the combi
I hurt my
contest,
arm.
he's still, and you going to do all your tricks?
I don't know. We'll see.
All your signature
Well,
moves?
we're gonna try. We're gonna try. There was one. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So, thank you guys. We're gonna get some other guys up here. Thank you. Let's
Thank
give it
you,
up for Christian Asoy, Steve Hurst, Steve Cathy. Love you guys. It's always great having you. All right. I saw over here in the crowd Bowman. Come on, stylish Brad Bowman. We're going to get Bowman up. Let's get Jamie Godfrey up here. And then Billy Ruff. I saw Billy. Where are you at? Billy, did you just leave? He just... Oh, come on. Come on. Let's get these guys. And then I'm trying to look because I can't really see too well who else is in the room. So in that case, if I see Cab. We're going to get Cab. Come on, Cabby. Where are you here, Cabby? Yeah, let's get Cabby up here. We have some good stories as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
birthday,
sir.
Eddie.
While Cabby's coming up, just to kind of the story, I was hoping and planning. There's 3 tricks that I wanted to do when I'm 60, so I wanted to do it on my birthday. I got hurt about a month ago with my shoulder, but I want to do a frontside invert. I'm not sure, and then the El Gariel and a frontside rock and roll at 60. So let's see if that happens. 3 of some of the tricks that I've invented, but we're stoked. So we have a couple of generations here. That we have Brad Bowman on the left. Let's give it up for Brad Bowman, BB, Superman, BB logo. We have Jamie Godfrey from the East Coast, Cherry Hill, part of the Bones Brigade back in the day. And no need to talk about, we all know Steve Caballero is infamous half cab. Oh, I don't have my half cabs on today, so, but anyway. So.
The shoe.
Ultra Range.
What? All terrain?
Start with the
Best
shoe.
Vans shoe ever.
Is it?
The Vans Ultra Range, the most comfortable shoe ever.
You're supposed to be saying yours is the best.
It looks good too.
I don't skate in these.
No,
These are chillin' shoes.
yeah, chill,
They
chill.
massage your feet
All right.
while you sit.
Well, let's start over here. We're going to start at this end with Brad Bowman. I remember just seeing pictures of Brad in the magazine, just so stylish. Frontside early release, frontside airs, and I remember. I think my first pro contest was I entered as an amateur at the Gyro Dogbowl Pro, and all these guys, TA, and everybody's in there, seeing you, the picture of you with that green board, ollieing into the bowl in Marina, and just
Off the hip there,
yeah, off the
yeah,
hip
deep
into
end.
the into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deep. 2 colors, the green popped, but then it was black and white, but just
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
so just tell us about just kind of when you started coming up, because I know you were in LA, but you were known. It seems like you were known kind of for being in the Valley. Tell us that.
Yeah, I was pretty much raised in the San Fernando Valley. And there was a couple of guys that helped me along the way. Number one, this cinematographer named Ray Allen, who was friends with Hal Jepsen, who made Skateboard Madness. And Ray has documented pretty much all of skateboarding since the 60s. And I actually used to get paid by Hal Jepsen $2 an hour to go and staple surf posters on telephone poles all over the valley to get people to go to watch his movies. And I met Ray through Hal like that. And Ray actually convinced me one day to go over to Catalina and enter this downhill and slalom event they had. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go there. I've never been to Catalina. It's kind of cool. And so Ray and I go over there, we go to San Pedro, take the ferry across, and we get there. I have no idea what I'm doing at this point. And there's guys there that are like 150 pounds bigger than me and heavier, older. Henry Hester, Bob Skoldberg, John Hudson, Tony Alva was in the contest, a lot of people. And that's where I first became sponsored by Gordon and Smith at the time. Ray knew Dave McIntyre. Dave met me. He said, yeah, you're in the contest. Here, put a t-shirt on. We'll give you some wheels. Stoked. That was it.
And you know what? That's the way it was. So when I was at Colton Skate Park opened up, and I was just wanted to show all my stuff, and then Skitch Hitchcock designed Colton. So then the Hobie team came out. Dwayne was there, Skolberg, Dale Smith, and I was just wanted to, and they came and just gave me a set of wheels and say, hey, you want to be on the team? It's like, yeah. I mean, it's like one of those dream come true.
I'm still envious of Sausage and yours relationship, because without Sausage, you would still be an amateur.
It's true.
Just kidding, kidding.
No, but it's cool because he was, and I think the thing is I think in our lives, sometimes we need mentors to help us. Even though he didn't skate vert, he was able to see some things and to help me to progress and just say, and you basically believe in me. And kind of like you had Stacy and you guys had other people, but he was like, he believed, you could do this. You can do that. Even to this day, he's trying to get me to do things. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to die.
But when you're at that age, you believe them telling you can do this, right?
Yeah.
And that's all it takes sometimes is just a little push, a little mentorship, just a little confidence. And with skateboarding, that's everything. Skateboarding's mental more than anything else. If you can do something, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. That's the bottom line. So
you got your wheels. So continue the story.
Back to my history?
Yeah, back to your history.
It's kind of boring. So there I am, rolling downhill at, all of maybe 106 pounds, trying to go faster than Henry Hester and Bob Skoldberg. I think there was 32 guys in the contest, and I think I got 26th because the other 6 guys fell. So that was all right. I was pretty stoked I didn't end up last, but it was quite an experience. And from that point, they were just putting together a LA team, GNS was, so David and Paul Hackett were the key components there. And he goes, I've got these 2 guys, these brothers, Hackett brothers. You know them? I go, oh, yeah, I know who they are. And he goes, they're going to be our LA team. You want to be on the team with them? I'm like, what, no? Yes, of course. So that was it. David and Paul and I were the GNS locals for North, I guess you'd call it LA, north from San Diego, obviously. And it just blossomed from there. I was on the team pretty briefly, actually, because I was living in the valley. A lot of skate parks were opening up. Oxnard Endless Wave opened up, so everyone was going there. All the Dogtown boys, the LA boys, the Valley boys, even the San Gabriel Valley guys were driving up and riding that park because it was so amazing. And one day there's these 3 men on the other side of the fence in the parking lot watching us skate. And one of the guys whistles. He goes, hey, come here. I'm like looking at him going, 3 dudes. Why are these 3 dudes calling me over? And they're all like 10 years older than me, I thought. And he goes, oh, come here for a minute. Come here. I'm like, all right. I roll over. I go, yeah, what's up? He goes, you skate pretty good. I'm like, I'm doing all right. There's a lot of good skaters here. He goes, you ever ridden a Sims board? I go, yeah. Lonnie Toft gave me some wheels. And, they were cool for a while, but now I ride for GNS. It was Tom Sims, Kirk Putnam, and Craig Feynman.
Wow.
Those were the 3 dudes. And, heavy hitters.
Yeah, definitely.
So they didn't introduce me by their names. They were just 3 older dudes. And it was wild. So they're like, hey, we'd like you to ride for us if you're interested.
And
I went home and asked my mom what I should do. Like,
What'd
these
she
3
say?
older dudes were asking me to ride for their team. She's like, what? No. And turns out a week later, Craig Feynman calls me, talks to my mom. She goes, they want to offer you a pro model, which means money. I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, you're signing with Sims.
That's the way it was back then.
That was it,
so
man.
cool.
Opportunity.
How cool is that? It's such a great story because I've known you for years, but just to hear that, I never knew that story. And that's what this is all about, just to kind of tell stories of things that happened during that time that kind of like, wow, that made your career. I mean, for being on Sims, and it was rad. I don't know if Andric's here, but I remember the ad with your board and Andric's board and Was it full?
Bert.
Bert Lamar board. Yeah, and it was just like they were all just. I wanted to have them all, but then I got sponsored with Hobie and I couldn't. But
So you missed the earlier ads with DeMont Morency, Lonnie, and my board.
oh,
Remember that
no, I
one?
remember that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that was the first one.
Oh wow, okay.
Those were the
Oh,
ones.
that's the one with the 10-point.
10.0.
Yeah, the BB. Yeah, just the Sims logo.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
got to tell you, I was so nervous and yet so stoked because Lonnie Toft had been doing demos at all the skate parks and the malls because he was a Pepsi team member. So he would always come by and he was so cool. He would throw us some used wheels or some old trackers because he got some new ones finally. And he was always paying it forward to us Groms. And it made such a huge difference in our lives when this pro comes by and goes, yeah, here's some old wheels, you want them? It made us feel like, wow, we can do this. There's something to this, you know?
Was that your signature? Your real signature?
No,
No,
no.
It was a great signature.
It became my signature.
you had to
You guys
learn.
want
it?
to know the story about the signature?
Yeah, let's do that. I because you
All right.
sign like that.
All
How
right,
did
so
you
they
learn
call
that?
me up. I'm in San Diego at the time, or I mean LA at the time, and they call me to Santa Barbara, and they go, yeah, we got your new board here. Check it out. So I looked at the board, and I was just blown away because it was the different plies and everything. It had the great kicktail on it, and so Tom's like, we're going to put this signature on it, and of course it was Tom's signature, and I'm like, I don't like that. So Kirk Putnam, who was the team manager at the time, Craig Feynman, who was the photographer and also a journalist and everything else, and Tom started sitting down and signing their names on these blank pieces of paper. And they had me sit down with them and gave me a Sharpie, although it wasn't a Sharpie, it was called a flare pen, I think. And I start signing my name. Of course, I look like a 10-year-old signature. And the best one was Kirk Putnam. So we used his, and we kind of overlaid his on mine and modified a little bit, but my signature is actually pilfered from Kirk Putnam.
Wow, and you just learned how to.
And it's mine now.
I love it. I mean, it's just so cool. You know, I like yours, Lance Mountains. He has just
Lance's
like
is
a cool little.
perfect. Lance and Steve
Mine is
also.
like, mine is like,
Yeah. Love
Anyway,
theirs. I like Steve's too.
yeah, it's a big old.
Yeah, it's a little glam
Yeah,
rock
yeah.
to it.
After you sign it 300 times, though, it gets a little boring today.
Yeah. Well, just a quick story. So we have all these boards for all the legends get at the end of the night. That's what we want you guys to leave home with, all those signatures, and then all the platinum VIPs that purchased. I want to thank. You know what? I want to give a big hand to those the platinum VIPs, the VIPs. They bought the package to help.
Yes, thank you
And-
guys. It's good to
Thank
have
you
all
guys.
here.
Thank
And
you
those
guys.
that aren't here.
Because by what you do helps us a lot to kind of continue to on. But so Cab came in earlier and they go sign all these boards. There's 130 boards, and you did how many minutes?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. And the champion, and then Christian comes in afterwards. And if you know anything about skateboarders, they're very competitive. It doesn't matter whether you're playing pool. I don't know. We were on a trip somewhere, and it's just like, I think I threw something, me and Christian, I just threw something, and it's just like, oh. And he's like, I could get it closer. It's like, dude, this is not no, but everything becomes a competition. So he comes in, and he's like, how many minutes? And then you did how many minutes?
Long story short, I owe him a Starbucks coffee.
But see, the thing is though, but you went first for time.
I did.
See, when you're doing it, you're going to go. But if you have a goal to hit, it's a lot easier to hit that goal. So Christian kind of came in and had the challenge. So anyway,
I
You know
think
what's funny, let me just quick vignette, is that no matter what sport you're in, we're always trying to be better than our buddy or the guy next to you. Formula One drivers are the same way. They'll walk into the race and they're trying to walk faster than the other guy.
so, all right, Jamie Godfrey. Jamie Godfrey was from an amazing skate park, Cherry Hill Skate Park, and I remember going out there. Actually, I went out there.
you were a Hobie rider then.
Hobie, Team
First
Hobie.
time, yeah.
And I remember they got new owners. They're trying to revamp it. They had Dwayne Peters was there 1 week, and then I came in, and we crisscrossed over. And I think Cab came in the week after that.
Cab's never been there.
You went to Cherry Hill, didn't
No, I made it to Apple and surf and turf.
So maybe it was Apple then.
I begged you back then.
So anyway, but Jamie Godfrey was there,
You begged the wrong
East
person.
Coaster.
Stacy.
But when that skate park opened, all the best of the best went. Brad was there, Shogo was there, Doug D. Montmorency, picture of you guys doing doubles there. Tell us about that as a kid, just like seeing all these West Coasters come to the East Coast.
Well, for me, it was a lot different because, like everybody here, we all started out riding freestyle. We were riding flat ground, and then transition kind of took over. But the magazines, when they first had transition, a lot of it was, backyard pools and stuff. And a lot of stuff we saw in the magazines, to us, we thought was like, it was two-dimensional. It wasn't videos. There was no internet or anything, of course. We didn't think they made anything because we were all freestylers. And when the park first opened, they brought, were you the opening week or like the week after? Opening week,
That was the opening week.
With Jay Adams,
That's
Tony
right,
Alva,
Tony Alva.
Brad Bowman.
Wow.
I think were the Hout Boys there too?
I think the Hout
Kevin
Boys
Reed,
were
were you
there.
there?
Kevin Reed, I think, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Radical.
With Doug.
Yeah, Kevin
with
Reed.
Doug
You
Montmorency.
inducted in the Skateboard Hall of Fame this last night. Let's give it up.
But I, at
Steve,
that
you didn't wear your sweatpants.
I was a grom at this point. I had like Norcon knee pads, and in the park, I got a chance to see this park before it was actually finished. And when I looked at it, it was like, whoa, because our park before that was called PSP, which we took the term pretty shitty park, but it was called Philadelphia Skate Park, and it was lumpy, bumpy, and they had this bowl that had like 8 feet of vert on it. It was just like a lot of it was unrideable, basically.
I loved it.
Did you go to PSP?
Did you skate it? Oh wow.
It was. but but anyway, so when these guys came to the park, when we saw them ride, we were like blown away. I mean, it was like incredible to see. First of all, Cherry Hill had a 3/4 pipe at that time. I don't think anybody was there a 3/4 pipe back then, other than Cherry Hill. Yeah, it was the first one.
The first one, and then Apple.
Right.
built
Apple
one.
also built by Holiday, Wally Holiday. But this park was like, and these pros came and they showed us how to ride it. I mean, literally how it was done, and we were like blown away. Jay Adams, Tony Alva, Brad Bowman, Doug Montmorency, Kevin Reed. It was just incredible to see Kiwi Gifford. Like, people who were all inducted last night, they were there, and it was an incredible experience. And at that point, I rode for a little skateboard shop called Country Skateboards, and the owner was a really, really nice guy. And when I saw all these pros come, they went back to California, I think, a lot of them, and said, I want to go back. And I think 3 times he came out. Yeah. So
Came out too.
yeah, so most people came to Cherry Hill. It's all they wanted their sponsor to do is send him back.
Now, didn't Shogo move there?
So that's a good side story. I'll get into that. But so then as time went on, the East Coast, everybody found out about this park, and to me, when I look back in history, is like now everybody knows what's going on. Back then, how do we find out? Like, Cherry Hill was there, and people from Florida, Paul Schmidt came up. Clyde Rogers, I don't know if he's here, but he came up. Mike McGill, Alan Gelfin, they migrated up. And then from like New Hampshire, Evan Feen, we had people coming from all over the place to come to this park. And then, because these guys came out, I started to like realize, more how to skate. And so like Christian was saying, the masters were, this is how you do it. So I did away with the stink bug and grabbed properly for a front side air and style. Like, seeing these guys ride, style became really important. How you flowed. And talking about signatures, that's my favorite thing about skateboarding, is that everybody who skates, every time I watch people skate, their style, that's their signature. And I love that about skateboarding. No 2 people skate the same, and it's something that always stands out to me. And I even look back in history of people like, oh, his style sucked. I'm like, but that's his style.
Yeah, it's his DNA. That's
right. And now I love it even more. But as I started getting better, a guy named Rusty Harris from Virginia Beach started, he somehow became like the East Coast Powerflex team. Bobby Valdez was also at Cherry Hill, probably. And I'm like, wow, Bobby Valdez, I'm going to be on that team. And so Rusty brought up a whole crew of people. One of them happened to be Reggie Barnes, who I saw last night for the first time in 45 years. Reggie Barnes was on Powerflex. And so I rode with Rusty, and I kept on honing my skills. And then little by little, as I got better and better, Mike Jeslowski and Victor Perez, who happens to be here, we all rode for that skateboard shop, Country Skateboards, together. And Mike Jeslowski was an incredible, gifted person. Forget about his skateboarding. He could, play a piano after just hearing a song. He could, juggle. You saw Mike skate, so rest in peace. But he was an incredible skater, and I believe the story goes that PSP, Pretty Shitty Skate Park, asked Stacy Peralta to come out and do a demo. And at that point, Tracker built that half pipe that was on a trailer. And I also rode at PSP, but when Cherry Hill opened, I'm like, I'm done with, I'm not going there anymore. And so Stacy came out and did a demo and saw Mike ride this incredible, he could freestyle like all the guys in the magazine, but he lived on the East Coast, and the guys couldn't believe it. And Stacy saw him skate and wanted him to ride for him. And at the same time, he said, you should check out this other guy, Jamie Godfrey. And I don't know if Stacy came out separately to come to Cherry Hill, or if he came over, because it's right across the bridge. It's 45 minutes to come over to Cherry Hill from where the other skate park was. And, so Stacy came up to me after seeing me ride, Cherry Hill, and said, I'd really like to sponsor you. And I was like, whoa. And like you asked your mom, I asked Rusty. And Rusty, here in the West Coast, years later, he had his Rusty, Harris series, and he was like a real, mentor, like you were saying, a mentor of skateboarding, and he mentored me, kind of like pushing and pushing. And when Stacy asked me, I first had to ask Rusty, and Rusty like, Pal Peralta? Well, at that time, it was really just Pal, because the Peralta was on it, but he was like so stoked for me. And I was like, flabbergasted, because Stacy Peralta was the style master of that generation. But that's kind of how my history went. But to go on to the Shogo story, because I told Christian this yesterday, so I get on the Bones Brigade, and right away the Gold Cup happens. And being on the East Coast, I come out from the West Coast, and so I'm a little grum, and like he was said, somebody was saying earlier about like the Gold Cup, like all these pros, and all of a sudden you're immersed with Burt Lamar and Brad Bowman in a contest, like all these guys I looked up at Cherry Hill. Now I'm there. But my first experience walking in was seeing Christian Asui, because Shogo Kubo loved Cherry Hill so much, he decided he was going to live there for about like almost a year. So he left California and just stayed at Cherry Hill. So he was one of my mentors, because his style and the way he rode, it was such an influence watching him skate. Like he was just powerful and, just flowing, the way he just flowed, his tail blocks, just like Christian was saying, he do it this way. But my first experience walking into Marina Del Rey when I first got out to California is I saw this little kid with long, long hair. And he looked somewhat like Shogo. And I thought Christian was Shogo's kid. Because he had that style. He rode so much like him. So I'm just grateful that I had these people that came to Cherry Hill and gave me that experience. And, in a way, allowed me to be here today.
Cool.
Skateboarding to me is, it's part of my soul. It's a lot of my friends. And I that signature thing comes back to mind, that we all need to somehow find what we can put our energy in, and what do we get out of it. I look at, skateboarding as something I get so much out of at 58 years of age. It's not just the skateboarding or, coming up here and talking about my history. It's the new people I meet. Like I came up here earlier to thank these girls I was riding with today, because it was such a pleasure being with them. And everywhere I go, I meet people, young, old, and we didn't have that back in our generation. It was just us. We were all teenagers. So I think that's the most blissful thing I find in skateboarding, is the camaraderie, the family, and there's a lot to get out of it. And it's not just trying to be the best. It's about having fun.
Cool.
That's what I always say.
Well, thank you very
Everyone
much.
here.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone out there.
You know what? Thank you for, because he's always been a supporter of the El Gato Classic. We got to do it. You got to do it again. And I was like, I'm not sure. Yeah, but thank you very much for all you do and your family. I know your wife, she's had the phone up for this long. You have a strong arm right there, but his whole family is here. They just come out.
The
they're just
Jones
amazing.
Brigade.
The Jones Brigade. So let's give it one more time for Jamie Godfrey. Now I'm going to ask Cabby. A lot of you know Cabby's story from different things, but I want to talk about, I remember the first time I met Cab. It was the USASA National Championships in Escondido, California. He came down with Clay Thompson. Was it Clay Thompson? And was it Scotty with you guys? No, I thought there was 2 or 3 of you that you guys were riding. So tell us that story, because I remember he came down and he wasn't on PAL yet, and these guys from NorCal came down ripping, and so tell us.
Yeah, I believe it was a Campbell Skateboard Park team. I was part of a skateboard park team up in Northern California. We had 2 skate parks. It was Winchester Skate Park and Campbell Skate Park. And I learned how to compete at Campbell Skate Park because they were more of a family-oriented skateboard park that actually helped kids learn how to compete against each other. And every weekend they would have a competition of whether winning like free skate time, because back in the day there was no such thing as a free skateboard park. You actually had to pay to skateboard. Interesting concept, right? So when anybody ever asks me what's the best era of skateboarding, I say right now, because we are super blessed to have what we have in skateboarding today. And so I'm proud to be a skateboarder now, and I'm stoked for all the kids that get to enjoy everything that we've created to today. We get to enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you know what? And I think that's why I do this. You know, I want the young people to understand history, not to like, but just to understand and not bypass history. Because for me, I really feel in my heart. The Dogtown, the Z-Boys, the pool skating, they got that going. Inspired. I saw Greg Weaver on the cover. That's the thing that made me want to ride in an empty swimming pool. You can see the Look Back Library, the cover of Greg Weaver barefoot in the pool. But then you have the Bones Brigade, the documentary, and I think a lot of times people think that it went from Dogtown to the Bones Brigade, but it's just like people like Brad and Hackett and Tim Martin and Kevin Reed, and there's all these guys that invented so many tricks, and that's why I do this as well, just to let the young people know that there's so much more to skateboarding, and it's honoring. Anyway, go ahead.
Where was he?
Come on, Eddie. Shut up. It's my time.
Well, no, I mean, basically skateboarding, for me, it started in Southern California because it's what I saw in the skateboard magazines that I would saw in a convenience store. I mean, I was really into watching scary movies, special effects, Star Wars, just anything that was related to sci-fi. So I would go to the store to get a Slurpee and maybe look at the magazine on the rack, and there was either comics, motocross magazines, Fangora or Monster magazine, and then there was Skateboarder magazine or Skateboard World, and that interested me. So I'd look through it, and I saw, the guys that came before me, a lot of it was like freestyle, a lot of it was slalom, going downhill, going through cones, and then a lot of it was also people building their own ramps, quarter pipes to like the first half pipe that I ever saw that didn't even have any flat bottom. It was just a big U pipe to like people riding in backyard pools. And so it was really interesting, but there was nothing in Northern California I didn't even know anybody that actually rode that kind of stuff. It wasn't until I would go to Disneyland every year, and one time I was driving to Disneyland, and I'm looking at the Matterhorn, and then I look over, and I see a cement area called I guess they were called it the Concrete Wave. And I'm like, that is what I'm seeing in the magazine. And I told my father, I go, I want to go to this skateboard park that I saw in the
That's so
magazine.
cool.
It's a reality. And so my dad, you know, let me go the next time we came to Disneyland, let me go to enjoy the skateboard park. And before that, I'd try to build my own ramps at home that I saw in the magazines with just the plywood that was in the backyard. I mean, I didn't understand transition, so I remember I had a 6-foot fence, and I made a transition up to the 6-foot fence that was probably 3 feet transitions with a broomstick on top to try to emulate the coping. And I couldn't understand why I couldn't get to the top. I didn't understand that the transition had to be at least more than like 6 or 8 feet, and the fence was only 6 feet high. So I don't understand what I was doing. But then I learned how to build a quarter pipe, and I learned how to do backside kick turns. So I have like Super 8 film of me learning how to do a kick turn, and I never knew what a frontside kick turn was. So when I went to the Concrete Wave, I saw that they had this run called the Snake Run, where it actually went frontside and backside. And so it was my first time trying a snake run, and I actually had to learn how to go frontside at that time. And once I rode that skateboard park, I fell in love with skateboarding. And I actually rode the pool there. They had a pool there as well, and I could actually do kick turns, and I was almost getting to the top. So when I got home back to Northern California, I heard that there was a skateboard park being built called Winchester Skateboard Park. I showed up to where it was, a fence was there, and I was just dreaming to wait for it to open. And it finally opened, and I was hoping to see Rick Blackheart skating the skateboard park, but I heard that he'd gotten kicked out before it was even open. I think he tried to run over the Dan Wolfman, you know, in the parking lot, and he was, so I didn't get to see one of my idols that I looked in the magazine to ever skate there because he was already kicked out before it was open. But when it opened, I got my first membership there, and that became my family. I lived on the east side of San Jose, and Winchester was on the west side. So it took about 20 minutes on the bus, but I would go there every weekend, and it was just something that I just was so passionate about it.
Was this about 1978?
Yeah, 1978, and so I was about 13, and I fell in love with skateboarding, and I just wanted to do it every weekend. And so I would just wait all week to be able to go to the skateboard park. So back to my story about Campbell Skate Park. Campbell opened up probably, I don't even know. Do you remember when Campbell opened up after Winchester opened up, Kevin? Maybe like 6 months? About 6 months after, another skateboard park was built 1 mile away.
Wow.
One was on Winchester, one was on Bascom, and the one in Bascom was called Campbell Skate Park. And that's where I learned how to compete. That's the one that they actually was family-oriented. That's the one that they would get behind the kids there and just try to give kids a reason to learn how to progress and be better. And I ended up winning like free skate time, free product, free stuff out of the pro shop. But the main thing was to be on the skateboard park team. It was the Campbell Skate Park team. And if you got on the A team, that means you got to skateboard for free. And so I tried my hardest to get on the
That was
the
the
A
goal.
team.
It's not just, I want to be this. I just want to be able to skate free.
Well, no, I mean, I was just stoked that my parents bought me skateboards, and they paid for the skate time, which I think back in the day was like $2.75 for like 2 hours, you know. So just skating at a skateboard park for 2 hours was insane, you know. And so I did the math. I'm like, well, okay, so if I do well and skate and get on the A team, then I will save all this money for my parents, and I'll be able to skate for free. And so after getting on the skateboard team, we traveled around Northern California, and we heard about all these other skateboard parks. There was one in Sunnyvale, There was one in Burlingame. What were the other? Modesto, Sacramento. I mean, they just started popping up all over the place, and we just started entering these contests all over Northern California. And our team happened to be winning all these competitions, and we became like the best skateboard park team, Campbell Skate Park. And we ended up coming down south, hearing about this championship at Whirling Wheels, Escondido. And so we got driven down, a couple guys, and that's when I very first met Steve Cathay and Stacy Peralta. They were the judges of that competition, and he saw the Campbell Skate Park guys riding. It was me, Clay Townsend, Monty Nolder. I mean, not Monty, no, Monty Valier, Steve Swain, and I think Bob DeNike was with us as well. And after the competition, that's when Stacy Peralta came up, and he asked if I wanted to be a part of this company that he was starting with George Powell, and it was going to be called Powell Peralta.
And the rest is history. Crazy.
That was 1979.
Yeah, it was April of 1979. Yeah.
My understanding of it is that, George and Stacy were talking about buying, like, Steve Olson, pros at that point, and they decided, let's find amateurs, and we were all amateurs in the Bones Brigade. Mike McGill, all of us, Scott Foss just inducted, Roddy Mullen, everybody was an amateur. But I always described it, getting on Stacy's team, it seemed like he would sprinkle fairy dust on us with stickers, and that was like our pay, kind of like, but that fairy dust that it just pushed us and drived us. It wasn't about money, or it was the love of skateboarding, and Stacy, more than anybody, loved skateboarding.
Yeah. Cool.
I got a
Yes,
little
he
reminder
did.
tidbit for everyone.
What's that?
Steve Olson and Ray Bones were the first two
Powell riders, yeah.
Does anyone remember Steve Olson riding a Powell?
Is Steve Olson around? Is he still out there, or is Alan Gelfand was supposed to be here? I'm not sure if he's coming into town. I don't know if Alan
His
Gelfand's
girlfriend.
here.
They rode
His
Bones
girlfriend,
Wheels,
he had trouble
right?
with his girlfriend.
They were riding Bones
She's
Wheels. Was Steve Olson before Santa Cruz, or what was he on? Steve Olson.
He was riding that the Quicksilver board, doing a frontside air. I remember that. It's like a stylish frontside air with Bones wheels and on it. Yeah.
There's actually a photo on the internet somewhere. You guys might have seen it. That there's actually a photo of the Quicksilver board with Steve's name. What do you call that when they hammer the initials?
Like
his name is in it.
Engraved.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. His name is engraved
Crazy.
on the board. So someone out, well, maybe no one here, but someone out there has that board.
Ooh, wow. Well, let's give it up for these guys. Thank you, guys. We're going to end tonight, and I'm just going to just kind of, thank you, guys. Thank you. Just kind of let you guys know what tomorrow's going to happen. We're going to go out and skate. And the thing is tomorrow, the vendors, if the vendors are going to be there getting opening, I think the doors open about 9:30. And so if you have tickets for that, general admission tickets are sold out, so I apologize if you were coming and expecting to get in. There's some of the other higher-ended tickets that are available, but so it's 9 o'clock. You get to see some of these legends skate. We're just going to have a session at 10 o'clock, expression session, we call it. So all the guys from the Hester series. Now, I know a lot of guys kind of come, can I skate? Can I skate? And I apologize, but I wanted to let these guys skate without having young guns come and show them, up, because it's kind of, we're all about the same age, so we just want to skate. So they get to skate from about 10, and these are guys that were in Hester Series era, for 1 and 2, Gold Cup Series, not 78 up to 80, and so we're gonna be able to skate, and then at 12 to 1, we're gonna open it up for all the generation skaters are gonna be skating in there as well, getting ready, getting tuned up, and then we're going to go into the Generations Contest. But at the time also, Dave Hackett we're going to be doing some pump track races there and having a fun time. Lynn Kramer's going to bring a timer. And it's just going to be fun. Let's hang out. It's going to be a great time. And I want to thank all of you for coming out, because it's going to be a great day tomorrow, just hanging out. And then if you, in the evening at the Big Rock at the Big Rock Pub just up the street I'm going to have a celebration, after party, Urethang's playing, Powerflex 5's playing, Harshmallow's playing, and it's just going to be a great day. So I just want to let all of you know that we'll see you tomorrow. Doors open at 9:30. We're going to have the barricades. We're going to have banners like the old Gold Cup Series days, and we're just going to have a great time. So, hey, all the legends, go pick up your boards, all the boards that you signed, and the Platinum VIPs and VIPs, pick up your stuff. We want to see you. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Hey, can I pray for you guys as we leave? Since this is church. Oh, and then I want to let you know, I'm going to tell my full story on Sunday at 10 o'clock here, and I'm going to show you some old pictures of me skating, and it's going to be just a great time. But let me just pray. Father, I thank you for today, this weekend, and everybody that's come out. Lord, we've all come out, Father, with the idea of, you know what, we're a family, a skateboard family. And I just pray that this unity, that this gathering together is just going to unite us even more. I thank you, Lord, for them. Watch over them. Let them have a great night's sleep. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you guys. Have a great evening. Go get some sleep. I want to go and get some sleep. We'll see you tomorrow.